Wednesday afternoon, a UK time friendly stream. It's not often I do that. Welcome, guys. Hello, everybody. Sunderland is going ideal, apparently. And who better to bring on to introduce this than the lovely Danielle? How are you doing, Danielle?
Hi.
Power Thetan.
Oh my God.
Number one, superior.
Oh
So,
my word.
we got wind of this a little while ago, a couple of days ago. I was sent this really interesting flyer that wasn't meant to land in my inbox, but it did. And let's show it to you here. So Sunderland is a town in the northeast of England, which is, funny enough, where Danielle is based. And Sunderland, the northeast, is going ideal. So this here is Sunderland's Ideal Renaissance, 21st of April, which is this Sunday. A spiritual revival for the Northeast. 6 p.m. at the Sunderland Museum. Special message for Sunderland from guest speaker Carol Nolan, who is from the International Landlord Office, and she has helped over 20 orgs in 6 continents become ideal. Wow. So it's being marketed as we've got a special message for everybody in Sunderland about the new Ideal Org. But you and I both know that it's a fundraiser, right?
Yeah, and what the hell's Bamborough or Annick, or whichever castle that looks like Bamborough to me? What else that got to do with it either?
Is that the one that Dominic Cummings went to during the lockdown?
No.
Okay, different
No,
one.
I don't think so, no.
But yeah, I think it's just because it's a castle and they've badly photoshopped these like British flags onto it to make it seem like more UK, I suppose.
Wow.
But yeah, so that's the news. So we obviously are going to be there to protest.
100%.
And I thought we would announce it here, and we'll go through a little bit of the context. So Sunderland Ideal Org has been on the cards for a while. Let's look firstly at this is the current org, which we know all too well because when Jeff PTS for Life came over from Canada for the IS protest, we visited. Danielle kindly dropped us off, and we went in.
Yeah, and now it's covered in scaffolding because they're doing, yeah.
They're redoing the roof, but this is the current Sunderland org. It's literally this door with a long corridor, and you go upstairs, and the org at the top 2 is the top floor here. I don't think it was this floor. I think it was the next floor up. And it was it was just there. And it's a kind of old rundown building they've had for ages. And let's not forget, they had 3 staff members. Like, we looked at the org board, I got a picture of it. 3 staff. There's no way they're going ideal anytime soon because you need like 85, I think, staff to go ideal, and they have 3. So it's not happening. But what they did do is they purchased a building in Gateshead, which is the next town along. Let me see if I can find the. Yeah, here we go. So this is a BBC article from last year. Church of Scientology committed to Gateshead move. So this is an old care home called the Windmill Hills Care Home. And it's this huge property in Gateshead, which is the next town along. It's not even in Sunderland, but it's the same. They look at it as the same town because they're American and don't know anything about UK geography. And they're Scientologists, of course. And they bought it in 2007 for £1.5 million. So for 15, almost 16 years, this building has sat empty and derelict, awaiting renovation. And the reason it hasn't been renovated is because, they bought the building, but they don't have the money to actually renovate it. And they don't have the staff because there's only 3 staff members. So this is going to be their new Ideal Org.
That's just ridiculous. It's utterly ludicrous, isn't it?
Yeah. And so I think this event is happening because the new Paris org just opened and they're trying to capitalize on that excitement of Scientology expanding. So I think what they're probably doing is going, great, this is an opportunity to try and get Sunderland to be the next org that goes ideal. So that one, and Manchester as well, and Plymouth and Bournemouth, they're all waiting to be renovated.
But I wonder whose brief it is because Paris had execs go out to Flag to do the OEC FEBC. Got fined after 3 times. I mean, I did it once, that was enough. They've had to do it 3 times.
3 times from start to finish.
Gosh. And so fired them back to Paris. They opened up in Paris. And I think the same with Chicago, right? Probably.
Yeah.
But who's coming to Sunderland?
Exactly. If they
I
send
mean,
their 3 staff to,
I
to
don't
do the
get it.
OEC FEBC, they'll
Yeah.
come back, but they still won't have any public. It's a
But do you think
tiny org.
Sunderland sent someone to flag?
I don't know. I would doubt it. I'd be surprised if they did, because
I
it's
don't
not an
know
ideal
who.
org.
No.
But yeah, so essentially this building has sat there empty for 16 years awaiting renovation. And I think what they're trying to do is trying to excite the local public to raise funds and donate money so that finally they can open their building as ideal, because they're going to spend millions renovating it and making it, you know, a Church of Scientology rather than derelict building.
Yeah. And
They
let's
are
not
on
forget, they're under pressure to get it done.
Yeah, I was exactly what I was going to say. They're under
Yeah.
pressure because the council and local residents have been angry that this building has sat there empty for 16 years doing nothing. So I think they're just trying to drum up excitement, but it very definitely is a fundraising event. There's no doubt about it. They wouldn't have an ideal org event without there being a donation aspect at the end.
No, and it'll only be invited public, won't it? Some people who've got money, you know, these whales. I don't know where these whales are up here. It's going to be very interesting to see, because I'm not aware of them at all.
How many people do you reckon will be there? I'm guessing 10.
Yeah, 6.
6, yeah.
6 plus 3 staff members.
There will be more protesters than public going to this event, I reckon. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
But essentially, so this fundraising event is happening at the Sunderland Museum. What can you tell us about Sunderland Museum, Danielle? Because you're
it's a municipal building. It's a beautiful old building, Victorian, I think, and it's got a lovely art gallery. It has event rooms. It has a library. It has a little museum.
That's it there, right?
Yeah, it's a lovely building. The entrance is round the other side. Keep going. Turn left up that street, and that's the entrance there. That glass.
Right.
Yeah.
There we go.
And it's the glass bit. They have a what would you call it? Like a bit of a mini Kew Gardens in the, and it's adjacent to Mowbray Park, which has a lovely little pond. I mean, it's really nice. It's lovely. And very popular with the local populace, you know?
Yeah. So it's a lovely building, and it's not Scientology owned or run or anything. Like, this is just a museum. It's a government building, and they have paid to hire a room there to hold their event, right?
Yes. I suspect the room, when you go into those doors, and you go through the middle sort of archway, once you're in there, there's a big room to the right-hand side, which overlooks the pond, which you can see on the right there. See where that sort of, see where that pine tree is? Yeah.
Right.
I suspect it might be in there. I don't know for certain, but it just depends how many people are coming, I suppose. But I suspect it's in there. One can't get into to look into those windows because the pond's in the way. But you can go up, you can go into the park, and then you can see through from the other side. But
interesting.
Yeah.
So there's not really going to be any avoiding us, because it's all public land and it's all in the center of town.
Yeah, and
so
there's lots of space there.
Yeah, exactly. So we can have our little protest, and there's no way they can avoid us, because there's only the one main entrance, right? This is where they're going to all go in.
Aware, I mean, it's possible the staff go in another entrance, but I'm not aware of that being the case.
Sure. So this is where we're going to be. We're going to assemble here. 4 p.m. I think is what we're planning, right? Because the event itself is at 6 p.m. But we've got wind that actually they might be getting there a little bit earlier. So I think if we set up on Sunday at 4 p.m, we'll protest. Their event starts at 6. So by 7 or 8, I reckon it'll be pretty quiet. So we'll wrap up and go have dinner or something.
But let's face it, it's going to be quiet anyway.
It's going to be quiet regardless. Yeah. But yeah, if you guys are in the northeast, if you want to come and join us, Sunderland, 4 p.m. Sunday, we'll be there, and we'll definitely have a lot to say. Now, I also want to share with you a little bit of news, because obviously I'm currently writing an article for Scientology Business about it. The building itself is owned by the council. Now, East Grinstead Town Council were my last target, I suppose. I think Sunderland are going to be the next ones, because I emailed them. Let me read out the email. So I said,
"You're such a troublemaker. You're such a troublemaker.
I'm such a big bad SP, Danielle." So I emailed Sunderland Museum, their press team, which is actually the city council press team. I said, hi, I write this blog, Scientology Business, and I found out that there's going to be a private fundraising event at the Sunderland Museum on Sunday, the 21st of April. Scientology rejected charity status in 1999 after it failed to demonstrate a public benefit to the Charity Commission. And recently, a number of individuals have come forward with harrowing accounts of abuse, harassment, and child trafficking within the organization internationally. I'm working on an article about Scientology's operations in Sunderland and the forthcoming event at the museum, and I was wondering if you could please provide any comment on the controversial group and why it has been allowed to use your premises to raise money despite its well-documented history of fraudulent activity internationally. And I gave them a deadline to respond. And are you ready? This is the full response that that I got. In fact, let me... I'm going to open it up.
Unreal.
I just realized I need to take out the person's name so that I don't dox them. Bear with me, caller. Here we go. So I'm asking them, why are you allowing this fraudulent activity to take place on your council premises? And this is their response in its entirety. In common with many organisations, the City Council hires out rooms in its venues to a wide range of groups and organisations throughout the year. Regards, Rose.
Unbelievable. Fucking believable. I can't believe it.
Like, this is quite possibly the worst response I've ever got from a council when I'm asking them about fraud and things of real public concern.
Yeah.
We hire out our rooms to everybody. What are your thoughts, Danielle, when you first read this?
I was appalled, utterly aghast. It is completely disregarding what you said. It's as though you've said nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, seriously?
And it's not hearsay, it is fact, right? Scientology have been found guilty of fraud on 2 occasions in France. It recently was found guilty of I think it was organized fraud and criminal activity in Hungary, literally last year. It is well documented and well evidenced in courts of law around the world and in Europe that Scientology has committed fraud on multiple occasions over decades. Yes, there hasn't been a ruling here in the UK to prove that it commits fraud here, but the organisation is a fraudulent organisation. That's fact. Yeah,
fact.
Exactly. And these harrowing accounts of abuse and so on, I'm really shocked that they didn't add some sort of line that said something like, we have put checks and balances in place to ensure that our premises aren't being used to support things or organizations or abuse or whatever, or even if it had a line that said we don't look into who hires our rooms, and we just hire out. Like, they could have said something, but they've said nothing at all.
Sense. I happen to know that when you do apply to use one of their rooms, one has to actually fill in a really comprehensive form. And
really,
who, where, why, what, and when. And it's not known as the Sunderland Museum. It's the Winter Gardens, and Sunderland Museum, or the Sunderland Winter Gardens Museum. I don't know which way around. But yeah, appalling. It's, as someone who's one of the victims, I want them to know my story, and I'm going to make it my mission to let them know what my story is.
Yeah,
I'm appalled. I've got a meeting with a councillor on Friday, and then I'm going to meet somebody else. And on the council, I really want them to know my story.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the thing, is it's activating local residents to show them it's a local concern. This is what I've tried to do in East Grinstead. Is so many people have contacted me saying, I'm a local resident, can you speak on my behalf? And I'm more than happy to do so. But luckily in Sunderland, you are a resident and you have the bravery and the courage to speak out. You shared your story on my channel, and as soon as I messaged you about this, you didn't just say, oh yeah, let's protest, I'll be there. You said, I've already contacted the council and I'm going to be pursuing it.
I'm actually really angry about it.
Yeah.
And that just fires me up even more, that response that you've had from the council.
Yeah.
It's appalling response. And I actually wonder, I mean, is she a junior clerk in the, you know, in the
Her
media
official job
department?
title, it just says media relations manager. So she's the person in charge of their media team.
Well, that's atrocious.
Yeah,
She needs
exactly.
retraining.
Yeah, precisely.
You know,
And that's what we're going to be there to do, to protest on Sunday.
yeah,
We're going to shout from the rooftops about your story, and we're going to make
yeah,
sure that the council know that by allowing Scientology to use their room at this museum building,
yeah,
they are supporting and enabling and somewhat legitimizing a
yeah,
fraudulent organization that traffics people around the world and abuses children. Like, and you're living proof of that. You're, you know,
yeah,
you have a story of how this organization was horrible to you, and you know, you're just one example of many people. So, you know, the council won't be able to plead ignorance once
no.
they've heard your story.
No, and it shows how historical this is, because, you know, my story was when I was back 11 and 12, 73, 74, and it's still going on today,
Yeah,
all those years later.
yeah, exactly. And it's not going to stop, especially when the council are allowing,
Mm,
you know, their property to be used for a
mm,
fundraising event. Now,
mm,
I'm pretty sure, knowing how Scientology operate, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have admitted to the council this is a fundraiser. They're probably going to say it's a private event for Scientologists. We're going to announce some news about our new building. It's going to be a nice event, speaking engagement type thing. I doubt they would have been honest to say, we're coming to your property to make money. But I've informed them in that email that it's a fundraising event, and they didn't ask for more details. They didn't say, oh, we were told it was not a fundraiser, it was just going to be a, you know, a private event. They didn't have any sort of challenge to that whatsoever. They
mm.
just said, we hire out our building to everybody.
I'm
What
aghast.
what would they hire out their building to the mafia if they said, hey, we want to do some illegal
Precisely.
gambling, and we want
Yeah,
to rip off a family
yeah,
and, you know, threaten them with their lives and their livelihoods, and take some money from them? Is it all right if we use your room? I'm
yeah.
pretty sure Sunderland City Council would say no.
Terrible PR.
Well, I would hope. I might be wrong. Sunderland City Council might be in with the mafia, who knows? But
No, well,
like,
you know, I'm disappointed, because the museum is open to the public, but it's not open on Sundays to the public. It's usually closed. So that it's obviously a private event where they've hired a room. But my disappointment comes in the fact that they're really lovely people. They do wonderful work for the community. It's a fantastic venue.
yeah,
And then this happens.
yeah. It's the
There's
same
no
with East
due
Grinstead.
diligence. There's no due diligence. They have not looked at it and thought, you know, it looks like they're just open to everybody. But hang on a minute.
Yeah, it's the same with East Grinstead. You know, my message all along is that the council have done great things. East Grinstead is a lovely part of the world,
Yeah,
and the council do good work, and,
yeah,
you know, worry about the community and help in all the areas that they help in. It's the same with Sunderland City Council, but it's just ignorance,
yeah,
because all of that good work is being eclipsed by
yeah,
allowing a fraudulent organization that
yeah,
abuses people to use
yeah,
their premises to raise money.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It completely eclipses all of the good work that the council does, and that's the problem. Is this then becomes a headache for the council, and they then spend time and resource dealing with me annoying them and you meeting with councillors, rather than just from the offset saying, no, you can't use our building.
no,
Instead,
exactly.
they're going to have to waste all this time and money, hassle,
Yeah,
like dealing with the hassle and the public complaints, and, you know, people
yeah,
complaining about it. It's a waste of public funds.
yeah. And just that response has just created so much more work for her and for the rest of the council, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
precisely. I would like to encourage people, actually. So those of you who can't be there in person on Sunday but want to get involved somehow, what do you think, Danielle? Should people complain to the council? I personally think people should write a letter of complaint to Sunderland City Council and say, or to the museum, and say, I don't agree with
Very
this.
much so. And I think Mrs. Jo's put the phone number up there. Thank you very much. So
Yes.
if people are to, please ring them and just express your disappointment, if that's how you feel, because they need to hear from just more than just me and Alex, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm just looking at their website here. So sunderlandculture.org.uk is their website. And if you scroll right to the bottom, there's the contact information. So there's Sunderland Culture inquiries. I think actually this is the better one. Sunderland Museum and Winter Gardens. That's where the event is taking place.
Yeah.
Museums@sunderland.gov.uk. And then their phone number is 0191 561 2323. So I want to be very clear in that I don't want people to spam and harass the council and the museum, because you've got to remember they are workers, they've got a job to do, and it's not their fault. They don't need to be harassed. Please don't do that. But I would advise writing an email and maybe making one phone call to just express that you have a concern if you feel like you don't agree with it, because I think the more people that express their concerns, the more likely the council will be to realize this is a problem to that affects people.
And if you are going to do it, could you do it either this evening, tomorrow, or Friday, because we've got it's closed at the weekend, so I don't think there's the phone at the weekend.
Exactly, yeah. So Saturday they probably won't answer the phone. Sunday they're closed. So yeah, today, tomorrow, Friday, please give them a call, send them an email and let them know. And those of you who are in and around the Northeast, join us. We'll be there 4 p.m. on Sunday. Please make your signs and your banners and bring them along. We'll live stream. I reckon it's going to be a smaller protest than the IES protest, obviously, and the same with London. Probably might be 5 of us or so, but there's only going to be 5 or 10 of them. So,
all
the key
small.
thing is, it's all small. And the key thing is, it's right in the center of town. So we will be seen and heard by local residents and people walking around the city as well. It's not like it's out in the sticks like their org is, because
and it's right opposite the pub.
Even better, Danielle. I'm there. So that's kind of it, guys. Just a short one, a little announcement. Let's go through some of these things. Selena here said, ideal Renaissance, lol. Yep. There's no Renaissance going on in Scientology. You've got to remember it's an empty building that sat empty for 16 years. They've got 3 staff members. They're going to have to do a lot of recruitment before they're going to be ready to open. And there just simply aren't that many Scientologists in the area to recruit.
Do you think they'll be bussing people in? They might do.
I don't think so, not for this. I think because this is like a local fundraising event, I think it would just be the local public who are currently on course.
You don't
when
think
it comes, sorry,
Leeds or Manchester, you don't think they'd come up?
I don't think so. Not for a fundraiser like that. When we did fundraisers at London Org, we would just announce it to our public, and the local public would come. We do call in and stuff, but I think they only go to the extent of doing like coaches and buses and stuff when it's like a bigger event, I think.
Yeah.
I think when they open the org, absolutely, they'll have people from all over the place. But I know they have sent staff, like Sharon Kloss, who used to be the executive director of London Org. She has been spotted up in Sunderland helping paint the rails and things, and helping with little bits of renovation work here and there. So they are getting people from all over the country to help with the project. But there's so much to be done before they're ready. It's not happening anytime soon.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, precisely. F. Sciento London says you'll need a flask of tea or coffee as well. Exactly. It's probably going to be spring weather, isn't it? I haven't checked the weather. But...
Well, it's been quite nice today. It's not been too bad, actually. During the day, the sun's been shining. We've had blue sky. It's been quite fun. Yeah, I'd say 12 degrees, something like that.
Yeah. Okay. We'll wrap up warm if you're going to join us. Mrs. J, question. Alex, can you make that letter available as a PDF on your website for others to use too? Absolutely. I'm midway through writing the article. I will post a link on my community tab later on when it's live on Scientology Business, where I'm going to be dissecting this whole response that we've got and why it's a problem, and maybe some pictures as well of some other Ideal Org fundraising events that I've got from the past, so people can see what it's going to look like. So yeah. And Harter, does the UK have high-speed rail? Yes. Sunderland is very far away from London. I think it's about 3.5-4 hours, and that's on a train that goes 120
and it is a Sunday, remember?
Yes. So it's going to take a while, but it is a fast train, 120 miles an hour. We do have high speed, so that's fine. But I'll be there with bells and whistles on.
Just trying to see if there's any other questions.
There are some good ones in the chat that I've kind of gone through. an alternative contrarian. Religion comforts poor people. Well, I think religion comforts a lot of people, whether you're poor or not. But Scientology extorts money from people. That's for
I was
sure.
going to say it probably takes advantage of poor people.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
A. Jansen, I would like to see the form they filled out in order to hire that location. That's a good one. That might be Freedom of Information Act request possible. And luckily, I'm not banned from submitting FOIs to Sunderland City Council because they're not East Grinstead Town Council. So watch this space.
Oh, that's sweet. Yeah. Thanks, Marla. Thank you. Yeah. Alex is a persistent trouble source.
Oh yeah, agent. That's true. I am a persistent trouble source. And look, like I said, my target here isn't local city and town councils. I'm not trying to cause disruption or distress in any way. What I'm trying to do is hold people in elected office accountable for their actions. You know, East Grinstead Town Council, the same as Sunderland City Council. Their job is to represent the local population, to look after them, you know, to provide resources and things for the community. By allowing this room to be hired by Scientology, they are legitimizing and enabling abuse, which is not okay. And that's the point of, you know, complaining to the council and raising awareness of this sort of stuff, is not to cause distress and disruption or harassment. It's to raise awareness and say, hey, you need to not do that because it doesn't look good for you, especially when you issue a statement like you did that just says, we let anyone use our room.
That's so naive. It's so naive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Janssen, well done, Danielle, and luck and much strength. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Guys, if you want to see Danielle's story, actually, go back on my channel, Saint Hill Stories Behind Closed Doors. Is a little series I did about different people that have experienced things at Saint Hill, and you did a really, really good video there. And I've interviewed you before, and you told through a lot of your story as well, haven't I? And we'll do more.
Yeah, and also you can go on to Mark Fisher and Janice's, which is more comprehensive.
Yes,
they've changed their name now, isn't it?
Our Scientology Stories Peeling the Onion.
Yeah.
I think it's just called Peeling the Onion now.
I think it is now, yeah.
Yeah. So I'll put links to all those in the description after that. But I think that's it from me. Anything else you want to add, Danielle, before we wrap up?
Mrs. J, you asked about Sunday. I think we answered that. It's not open to the public on the Sunday. Okay, yeah, that's it, I think.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Amazing.
And thank you so much for your support.
Yeah,
it means
absolutely. A lot. And thank you guys for checking in. If you want to support the protest and support my channel, you can buy me a coffee with the link down below, and we'll get everyone a pint on the day if we can, and we'll go and have fun. That's the key thing with these protests, is having fun and having a message of compassion and care. We're not going to be there shouting, you guys are, you know, assholes and blah, blah, blah at the council or the Scientologists. We're going to be shouting stories of care and compassion and sharing the truth about people like Danielle who live in the area and were abused by this organization. I think that's the key message, is 100%. Just truth. Yes,
absolutely.
Precisely. Well, Danielle, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll keep everyone up to date with these plans, and we will see you all on Sunday from Sunderland. Hey! All right, guys, see you soon. Have a good one.
Bye.
We're not fucking about.
No way.